Hello everybody. I'm Keerthana H. Magadi, Assistant Professor from Department of Electronics and Communication Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, JNTB University. Today, I'm excited to introduce you all to the new course, Introduction to Open Source Systems. So, first of all, what is an open source system? Open source, the terminology open source refers to the software which there is the availability of the source code. So basically, this source code is made available to the public, which will allow anyone to view, use, modify, or distribute the software. So basically, open source systems are and it could be the software environment, tool, or the platform that are built on the open source principles. Like, for example, we have the Linux operating systems, we have the MySQL database system, and many more of such examples. So this course we have offered is 3 credit course, and this is a elective offered by the department, so it is called as a department elective. So, coming to the importance of open source systems, open source systems are available everywhere. So, basically, the apps that you use, the website you visit, or could be even the home appliances that you are using currently. So, if you know something about these open source systems, definitely it'll make a big difference in understanding about the tech world around us. And we in this course are basically providing you with the foundational knowledge and skills in Linux operating system, shell scripting, file management, and databases, which in particularly we are focusing on MySQL. So, but why one has to know something about open source system? It's because of these following reasons that I've mentioned in the slides. So, firstly, because of its real world applicability. Basically, these open source tools and systems dominate the technological landscape. So, if you're studying them, you are gaining skills which can be directly applied to the modern workplaces, from tech startups to any major corporate industries. Next, because of the cost effectiveness nature of the open source system. So open source softwares are typically free for us to use, so it could be for students or for startup. This becomes an affordable choice, like you need not even have to compromise on the quality. Then comes the scalability property of these open source systems. So many of these open source tools and platforms are designed to be scalable, so making them more ideal for large scale applications. So understanding the scalability is crucial. So this scalability is actually crucial for those who are aiming to work on enterprise level of projects. This becomes very crucial for you to learn. Next comes the holistic understanding. So when you're understanding about these open source system, you are not focusing on one particular tool or one particular platform. So this actually provides a comprehensive overview on the open source as a whole. So it will ensure you to understand well in this particular field and well versed in this particular field. Then comes this flexibility and customization option that the open source system is providing. Like in the while I was defining what is open source systems, I said those systems where the source code is available to all of you. So because you know the source code, and because the source code is already available to all of you, you can modify this source code as per your needs. So if you want any like if in any software, if you want any slight modifications, you are free to do it when it comes to open source systems. Then it has a nice community collaborative support. So if you are working, like, these open source projects will often have a global community of developers that are contributing, like who are contributing for the continuous improvement. So if you encounter any problem while you're using particular software, or if you need to add any new feature to it, definitely you have a wide range of opportunities opportunity to work and collaborate and to add-ons and to do add-ons. So basically this open source system provides a huge community collaborative support. So that is one of the main reasons why one has to know something about open source systems. Then comes about the transparency and security. So you can see exactly how open source software works. So this transparency often leads to better security because of the vulnerabilities, because the vulnerabilities are more likely to be spotted and you can fix it more quickly. So that is the reason this open source systems are often preferred. Then definitely we have to talk about the career opportunities. So many companies right now are using these open source tools and platforms because of their reliability and flexibility. So familiarity with these systems can actually enhance your employability. Then comes the foundation for innovation. So if you people want to innovate anything, open source system becomes the heart of many of the groundbreaking technologies. So right from the web servers to machine learning frameworks, understanding this provides a future for innovation. Then a last reason is philosophical and ethical reasons. So open source system actually promotes a collaborative open approach to software development, which many believe this is the best way to advance the technology. So that is the reason why people often prefer and learn about open source systems. So to summarize this slide quickly, when you're studying about open source system, you get a practical, financial, philosophical benefits. So if you're aiming for a career towards software development side or data science or system administration, or when you're seeking when you're seeking a broader understanding of the modern technology, probably open source system is the basis for all of it. So that is one of the these are the importances of studying the open source systems. What will be covered in this particular course? So these are the major topics that we'll be covering in this particular course. Firstly, we'll focus on introducing you all to the open source platforms and tools, specifically Unix, Linux and GNU. So these Unix, Linux and GNU is the foundational operating system that have driven much of the modern computing technologies, and they form the basis for many server systems and embedded systems, and also many more. Then we'll cover about the shell programming. The shell is the primary interface users communicate within Unix and Unix likely systems. So this shell programming allows us to automate the tasks, make customized scripts, and also it will efficiently manage the system process. So all these we'll be learning under the title of shell programming. Then in the next module we'll be covering about the Linux file system. So we'll learn how files and directories are structured in Linux. We'll also dive into the specifics or something like proc file system, and it basically provides information about the system process in this particular module. Then we'll learn more, like we'll go beyond these files and learn about the Linux environment as a whole. So we'll look at a broader perspective from the user and program point of view. We'll learn about the environment variables. Then coming to the last topic, that is MySQL. Obviously most of you would have known what MySQL is. It is a widely used open source relational database system. So it is behind many of the websites and applications that we are using on a day-to-day basis. So in the sense, like in the to summarize, basically this course is aiming to provide you all with the foundational knowledge and skills in the field of Linux operating system, shell scripting, file management, databases, that too in particularly MySQL. Then let us go module by module. So I'll just take you through each and every module in detail. So in the first module, it is named as Introduction to Linux and Shell Programming Part 1. So here what are we going through? We are going through we are going to learn about the Linux and GNU. We'll also get started with what is shell programming, which directly talks to the computer. I mean, basically, shell programming is a scripting language which directly talks to the computer. So why do we have to study this particular module? This provides a basic for all of you. So once you know this, you will understand the further modules in a much easier way, and also you will know how computers are working basically. Coming to module 2, the title of this module is shell programming part 2. So what are we learning in this particular course? We are going to get deeper into the shell programming part. You will get to know about how we give commands, how we manage the tasks, and you can also make a small programming. So we are also making small programmings in this particular module. We'll also look at the tool called as dialogue that makes things look good. So why do we have to read this module? Because being good at this module, you can make computer work exactly however you want. So you can customize your computer as per your needs. So that is the reason you have to read this particular module. Then, coming to module 3, you will be learning about working of files. So here, these are the topics that are covered. We will dive deep into Linux files, like how to handle the Linux files. You'll also learn about where the files are stored, how to find them, and special ways Linux uses them, like how Linux uses files. So you learn about files and directories. So like almost everything we do on computer involves files. So knowing about how to manage them, files and directories, how to manage files and directories, it will give you superpower. So that is the reason you have to go through this particular module. Then, module 4, you're learning about Linux environment. These are the topics that we'll be covering in this particular module. So, we are going to get closer to, look at how Linux is working. So, you learn about how the Linux environment works. So, we'll understand how it keeps time, how it manages the users, and many other tasks. It will be, you can actually get a picture of how the Linux operating system, the Linux environment is working. So if you are planning to work with computers, especially with respect to IT jobs, then this knowledge is very vital. Lastly, other open source technology, that is the MySQL. So here you will be learning about the databases. So we are jumping into the world of databases in this particular module. You learn about MySQL, which is a popular tool used in many of the big companies. So data is there everywhere. So you have to know how to store the data, how to find the data, how to manage the data. So this skill set becomes very very important for all of you, for from your placement perspective, or if you are planning for any startup, or if you want to take up any project. This particular module becomes very vital and very essential. So why one has to opt this particular course, or why one has to know something about this course? There are three main reasons. One is definitely because most of the companies are right now looking out for people who have these skill sets that you will be gaining from this particular course. So if you want to get employable, if you want to increase your employability, definitely you will have to gain these skill sets. So that is one of the main reasons why you need to study this course. Second, definitely, if you consider marks, this becomes a scoring subject because we have made this course much easier and straightforward for you to understand. Also, third reason is we are using different teaching methodologies, different teaching techniques. So we're trying to, teach you all the skill sets and this particular course in a more interesting manner. So this is one of, like, these are the three reasons why one has to opt this course. And definitely, like I said previously about the importance of open source system, definitely all those reasons comes here as well. So that is the reason why one has to know something about open source systems and this course in particular. Next, these are the list of textbooks and list of reference books for this course. So, yeah, this was with the introduction of open source systems. Thank you, one and all. Looking forward to see you in the class.